Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. As promised, here is another video on how to build our own vault in the new Vault-Tec DLC for Fallout 4. In this video we are going to cover how to scrap everything that's inside your vault and how to make the most out of all the space. Now, I know we want to get on to building the vault, but everything that you saw in the first video, 99% of that was built with all the materials that are here available to you in this vault if you scrap everything the right way. Now, you might think to yourself, okay, I'm not an idiot, I can just scrap. That's not what I mean. There's ways to scrap everything to get the most bang for your buck, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to do that. We're going to explore some of the areas and look for things that you can scrap that you may not know that you could have scrapped, and some hidden areas that you may not know exist that can offer you even more scrap. So, with that said, we're going to get started here, and one of the first things I'm going to go over is this area that we're in right now. This is the main atrium that you first enter into, and this is where you saw where I had the big vaulted ceiling and the overseer was straight across the way there. You see that they already have some of these things already placed out, some of these pieces already here, like this atrium wall bottom and the walls and stuff like that. Now, you can store some of this, and sometimes it will come out looking as pristine as it looks right here. But I've had times where I've stored, I've stored, there goes that hillbilly language coming out. I stored away like this atrium wall bottom, and when I brought it back out, I've had a 50-50 shot of it being clean and pristine like it should be, or having all this debris on it. So, honestly and truthfully, if you scrap every single thing that you see in here, you're going to have enough materials to build pretty much whatever you want. So I say scrap it. Don't store it, just scrap it. Just get rid of it. Don't even bother with it. Just scrap it. You'll have plenty of materials to build with. So go ahead and scrap away. Everything you see, scrap it. Now, since we're messing with these walls, let me show you something real quick. We'll go into structures. We'll go over to vault. And for example, we'll bring up these atrium pieces. This is what you've seen most of my vault was built out of, these atrium pieces. Now, if you notice, they require steel and rubber. Steel and rubber are going to be the top two things that you're going to want to keep an eye out for, because every single wall, floor, pod, everything that you make, that's what it uses, steel and rubber. So keep your eye out for it. All those kickballs and stuff that you found when you were out exploring the Commonwealth, I hope you picked them up. Again, though, most of what you're going to find is right here. So I really shouldn't, imply that you need to pick up everything that you see out in the Commonwealth, because you should be able to get most of your materials right here, but it doesn't hurt to pick up everything. Anyway, and speaking of rubber, insert your own joke there, let's go ahead and, this is another thing what I mean by scrap everything. See the mining helmet? Scrap it. You don't need it, scrap it. Speaking of rubber, you're actually going to find that you have more than enough steel that you're ever going to need. And bless you, don't bless you. Goodness gracious, what did you get into? You're going to see a lot of these rubber floor mats. Scrap them. Excuse me. First off, they're kind of pointless. I see no reason to have them there. And number two, they give you rubber so you can actually build. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have a wall built than a floor mat. And for example, like this one right here, if you store this away instead of scrapping it, when you bring it back out, it's going to look just like you stored it. It might not have the blood on it, but it's going to be all discombobulated like this. So scrap it. Get yourself 3 rubber. You can build 3 walls that way. Now, since we're in here, this is going to be a good demonstration to show you a few other things. They pretty much assume in this DLC, in this vault, you're going to scrap every single thing you can see. And that is a very good idea. Now, however, do something that I like to call scrap down. And that is, don't just come over here and scrap the shelf. Make sure you scrap everything that's on it first. Now, sometimes you can get rid of the shelf and what's on it might fall to the ground, but sometimes it doesn't. Like for example, you might scrap this cart. The plastic crate on top might disappear along with it. It might fall to the bottom. You never know. So scrap down. Scrap everything that's, on top first, and then go ahead and scrap that. And, I just blew it. I wanted to show you something else. Okay. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. In the rest of the Commonwealth and the rest of our settlements, how there's always debris and junk all over the floor. We can't get rid of it because we don't have mods yet on PS4. So, you might scrap all this stuff, but you still see trash and dirt and everything all over your floors. One nice thing about Vault-Tec DLC is if you scrap most of the items you see, you can get rid of that debris. For example, we have these consoles here. Now you can store them away if you want, because they pretty much look pristine. And if you think you're going to use them, by all means, go ahead and store them away. However, we can also scrap them. We can get the copper and steel that we need for them. And if you're going to do a lot of wiring, you're going to want that copper. I say go ahead and, I say just honestly go ahead and scrap everything you see. But watch what happens. Let me back out of here. Watch what happens to all this dirt and debris that's underneath of it when we scrap the console. You see we get a nice clean floor now. Very, very nice. So make sure whatever you're doing, you scrap everything, because you not only are you going to get all the materials, but you're going to get a nice clean floor. And it looks much more aesthetically pleasing. Don't forget to scrap your signs. They got steel to them, and as you saw, a lot of debris went away with that. Here's your Vault-Tec reactor. Now, I'm laughing because I had quite a bit of issues with this. As you can see, you can't scrap it. It's providing you with 150 power, and you also can't repair it. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because we'll get to this when we actually cover the quest line for this place. There's a few bugs, and there's a few things that can cause you a bit of a headache when it comes to you built your entire vault, everything's nice and powered up, or you're happy with everything, and then all of a sudden things go haywire. We'll get to that because I don't want to get into spoilers until we get to that actual point, but there's ways to get around that and a way to get around the bug and to get around the glitches, and we'll get into that. Alright, so anyway, come in here. I ain't going to waste 3 hours of your time scrapping every single item, but come in here, scrap everything. You can scrap, why I went out of workshop menu, I don't know. Get back in there. You can scrap everything from the vault door back. So highlight as everything that you can possibly find and scrap it. You're going to need all of these materials. So take your time, loot everything, and then scrap everything. And I'm going to come out here and show you another example, 2 more examples of scrapping down. Like this is the trailer that the Overseer was living in when we first discovered this place, right? Well, you could just scrap the trailer, but then you're taking a chance of losing a lot of the good stuff that's inside of here. So come in here, scrap the coffee tin, oops, scrap the, everything that's on top of these things. Look it over, scrap everything. And then go ahead and, say, scrap the cart. Or come over here, loot the suitcase, then go ahead and scrap everything that's on the shelf, and then scrap the shelf. Scrap everything that's in here. Like we have an alarm clock. We definitely don't want to lose that. We have everything that you can see in here. We got a coffee cup. Don't want to lose that. We want the ceramic. So basically just, come in here and don't forget about things like stupid little things like these posters. We can make new posters later. Go ahead and scrap them. Scrap every single thing you see here. We have more posters over here. Go ahead and scrap it. Take your time and look at every single thing, and don't just come running over here and just obliterating stuff and missing out on a lot of scrapping opportunities. Don't forget things like these signs. You can come over here and you can scrap all these signs. Hey, it's steel. That's another wall you just built. If you come over here to these trains, here's another really good example of scrapping down. You could just go ahead and scrap this train, or you could even scrap the railroad tracks, but you got to be careful sometimes the way this game acts when it comes to scrapping. If things are snapped to each other, you can scrap one thing and you end up scrapping the rest of it. So come on in here and fail at getting up on the train and fail again and come inside the train and scrap everything. Scrap the skeleton. Open up the suitcase and take everything that's in there. Then go ahead and scrap the suitcase. Come over here. You got a lunch pail. You got a Boston Bugle. Scrap it all. Not the train. Scrap the lunch pail. Scrap everything. Now, if you accidentally scrap a container and forget to loot it first, the items will appear in the workshop, so don't panic too much. But again, try scrapping down. Scrap everything that's inside the train first, and then go ahead and scrap the train. Come over here, scrap the railroad track bumper, and then go ahead and scrap the actual railroad track itself. And come back here, scrap all this beat up train. You got more railroad track you can scrap. And go back into these tunnels as far as they will let you, because you might find a few more items that you can scrap back here. And just repeat that process for this entire area. You can scrap the big water towers. You can scrap pretty much everything you see down to the walls. And again, you might be tempted to store a few of these things because they look like they're in good shape. Don't. Just scrap them. You'll thank me later. And as you can see, once we're done here, we get a nice even floor. That's one other really nice thing about this Vault-Tec area is, minus the cave-ins and a few other areas, you have a nice big wide open flat surface to build onto. Alright, so we're going to go ahead this direction because I want to show you a few other things. You're going to see some broken reactors over here. Don't bother trying to keep them or store them. It won't let you, and it's not worth it, because you can just go ahead and scrap it, and you're going to get yourself 20 nuclear material. You're going to get yourself steel, ceramic, rubber, copper, aluminum. If you look at that list, that is exactly everything you need to build all of your vault structures and your powering and your wiring and all that stuff inside the Vault-Tec. And actually, we'll get to that a little bit later, but you're going to love powering things up in your vault. You will no longer need to run a gazillion wires to power everything up. So let's go ahead and we'll scrap that. This looks like it's scrappable, but for whatever reason it's not. Don't ask me why. We'll get rid of the crane here. We'll get rid of this railroad bumper. Get rid of the railroad track. And as you can see, you're going to run into a lot of rock sides and cave-ins that you can go ahead and scrap to open up brand new areas. Now, as you can see, there's our border, there's our boundary. We can't go any further than that in scrapping, so go ahead and get out of there, and we're going to go down into here. And let's bring out a little bit more powerful gun. Now, you're going to find a ton of enemies in these tunnels and in the area that you can scrap in. They're leveled, though. So I am level 42, 3, 4, somewhere around there as of this save file. So, you know, your mileage may vary, so you're going to see maybe a few higher level things here than you might have in your own game. But come back here, and I'm going to show you what else you need to keep an eye out for when you scrap. So we're going to come down here, and there's going to be some enemies, some Mirelurks. Nothing too fancy. You know what? I'm not going to get fancy and shoot you in the head. You're going to see a lot of stuff here in a second. Come on, where are y'all at? There we go. Come here, you. Ooh, that should took you down. Fine. Oh, ow, 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 ow. Help me, doggy. Bad Mirelurks. And depending on your level, you will have a Mirelurk queen back here. Which, if you're high enough level to have her spawn, you shouldn't have too much of a hard time with her. Ah. Unless you shoot stuff like I did. Don't spray me. Fine, you want to get close and personal, but... Fine. You just had to pick a fight with the wrong fella. Alright, now... I forgot to mention this earlier, but all those ghouls you've seen, they will not disappear. The bodies will stay there, so you're going to have to do some corpse management and go find a place to pile up all the bodies. However, the Mirelurks and the Mirelurk Queen, they will disappear. So, you know, you don't have to worry about this. Sorry. You don't have to worry about this big thing getting in your way. Now that this area is cleared out, I'm going to show you two things. Let's go ahead and switch back to old reliable here. You're going to have an east, north, and northeast sector that need to be powered up, so to speak. You need to repair the workstations in order to be able to scrap everything and build in that area. So if we come over here and we click this, we'll see that we need a control board. So we'll have to go find that. And I failed, you know, defending Starlight Drive-In. Doggy, what are you doing? No worries about that. I could care less. I get tired of Preston Gravy crying and complaining about all these different settlements needing my help. I go there, I save them, they just get in trouble again. Be that way. Anyway, enough of my ranting. Here is the water purification system that comes with the vault. This thing will provide you with 100 water, and all you need to do is power it up. It requires 20 power, and you can run power from the main reactor that you have, but I always put a reactor back here anyway and tie it to it just so I always know that this above all else is powered up. And we'll get to that when we go to do the building later on. But let's go ahead and let's go find ourselves the control card for this. And I'll show you how that works. And you know what? Let's do some stealth work here. If you're having a hard time finding the control boards, go highlight the workstation first, the workbench first. Once you do, you'll get the little tick on your map, on your compass of where these things are at. So let's go ahead and let's clear out some of these goals. Hello. Right in the back, right in the spine. And as you can see, here's another control board. So we'll go ahead and we'll take that. And we'll come back, and you notice I started getting some radiation there. I'm about to show you why in a second. And let's stop sneaking so this video doesn't take 3 hours. And let's go ahead and reactivate our workbench here. And as you can see, now we can actually start scrapping things. However, notice that when we come over here, all we can do is activate it. We cannot store anything in here. The very first workbench, when you first walk into the vault, that's where all your stuff is stored. But if we open up our menu here, you can see you can scrap everything that's in here. And again, you know, make sure you're scrapping down loot and everything. You're scrapping stuff that's on top of stuff first, and then, you know, scrapping downwards. But if we go over here, here's our water pump. And if we highlight it, you can see it's a Vault-Tec water pump, requires 20 power and produces 100 water. That is awesome. So we will power that up once we start building up our thing. We're going to skip this room. It's pretty basic when it comes to scrapping. This is something I want to show you though. If you come over here into this room, you'll notice we start getting radiated pretty much right away. And it's pretty high rads. That is because, ladies and gentlemen, we have uranium. You can now scrap uranium. So you see any of this glowing rock? Scrap it. There's your nuclear material. If you see any limestone, scrap it. There's some concrete. Same thing with this right here. There's some more concrete. And let's check my radiation levels. Not too bad. So if you happen to be exploring these caves and you're starting to glow, that's because there's uranium all over the place. So scrap it, and as you can see, we got something right there, and hello. We got ourselves a rad scorpion. Ah! Oh, fail. Hey! Oh, seriously? Ah, doggy, save me! Die. Darn it. So as you can see, we're going to start getting pretty hot here pretty quick. So let's go ahead and bring back our workshop menu up. Always take a look at the ceilings, walls, floors. There's uranium everywhere in these tunnels. So if you start seeing yourself take some radiation damage, oh my goodness, 33 rads. Make sure you go ahead and hurry up and bring up your workshop menu if it's available and start scrapping everything. As you can see, this is why we're getting the absolute crap radiated out of us, because we have a ton of uranium back there. Now, there's more to explore back that way. I'll leave that to you to keep this video kind of short. There's a lot more to explore back there, but it's, you know, keep the same theory in mind. Scrap everything you see, scrap down, and make sure you're scrapping all the uranium. So we'll come back up here. And let's switch back to old reliable. I love my rifles. And we're going to go explore a little bit more so I can show you where the rest of these control panels are and show you a few more tips on scrapping. Now we're going to go over here to the northeast sector. This is, if you were watching the first video, this is where I built the hallway and the stairway leading down to the residential area. And as you can see, this area starts out with a lot of crates. You got a big crane in your way and just a lot of junk and a lot more scrapping material down here. Excuse me. Now this area is going to be filled with mole rats, and they're just going to vary depending on your level. Nothing that you shouldn't be able to handle. And we got a mole rat. He's got his butt sticking up in the air. Nice, I like it. Surprise! Ooh, we got another one over here. Hello, I see you. Oh, I love having high sneak. How you like them apples, huh? Dirty rat. And again, pay attention to when you're scrapping. You have signs everywhere. You also have all these structures that they were starting to build for this vault. Don't forget to go inside them, loot them all, scrap everything that's inside of it first, and then go ahead and scrap the main structures. Right now we're looking for our next workbench. Yes, I hear you. Stay still. Okay. Ew. Oh, hello. Die. And I think our workbench is... this way. You'll find that once you get, once you pretty much open up all the scrap everything and open up all the tunnels, the north and northeast section intersect with each other in two different areas. It's originally blocked off to you know until you open up these workbenches. But we'll sneak around the side here. Uh-oh. What'd I trigger? Doggy! How did I miss? Alright, we better go back to sneaking. I just see him getting some more radiation. But unfortunately, we can't scrap anything here until we find the control board. So we'll keep on moving around. Hi-ho! 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 It's off to work we go. Uh-oh, we better run through here. Now, if you just keep going straight through here. Hey. I'm trying to demonstrate something on YouTube, do you mind? If you come right back here, as soon as you, oh, an albino. Die. I'm sorry, doggy. That was an accident. Has he got anything good? No. Alright. Move. If you come straight past the stairwell, you will find Northeast Sector Control Board. Basically, if you kind of follow all these tunnels in order, kind of like, you know what I mean, just kind of like follow the trail, you'll find everything you need. So if you come up here, keep going straight past, uh-oh, hello. Oh, fail, thank you. Die. Where are you going? Die. I hear you running around up there. Well, we'll get to them in a little bit here. So basically, just keep following the tunnel straight through. And eventually you come out onto the other side. And you'll see we have the Northeast Sector workbench right there. Very convenient, no? And once again, as you can see, that we can go ahead and we can scrap everything that's in the area. We can scrap the big old crane, we can scrap all this junk. We can also do this, we can scrap the limestone wall and lead ourselves back. This will head back towards the north section, back towards the beginning. But instead, we're going to go this way. Because I want to show you something else. If you come back up here, and I'll eventually get there, come back through the tunnels, make a U-turn as soon as you activate that workbench there. Come up here, and as you can see, you can scrap everything in here as well. So that includes all these boxes, all these items here. That includes all this here. Now, if you come up here, you'll notice that we had a blockade. We had a barricade that was preventing us from going any further. Now that we activated the workbench, we can go ahead and scrap that. And surprise, surprise, we have another way to get outside of the vault. And I missed. I failed. Failed miserably. Good gracious. Are you all dead? Good. I don't trust you. Make sure they're all dead. I think there's another ghoul over here. Oh, that's a body. Oh no, that's a mannequin. Hello. But as you can see, now we can come in here. Are you dead? Yeah, you're dead. You can come in here and you can scrap everything in here. You can scrap all the items, all the individual items. You can even scrap the counter. You can make this a bare bones room. You got all this stuff to scrap. So come in here, scrap everything that's in here. If you go through here, you still got a few more items up here that you can scrap. You just have to kind of, finagle it so you can highlight them. You got all the stuff in the bathroom you can scrap. Now, if you go outside this door here, this is another way that we can now get in and out of our vault. Now, you can fast travel directly to the vault. If you fast travel, say, from the castle to the vault, you're going to end up directly inside your vault. So you don't have to worry about, where you come in and out of at. However, just keep this in mind, that you have more than one entrance into the vault. Come on, load. You're making me dizzy spinning the weapon. Whee! I really shouldn't do that because I'll end up crashing the game. But anyway, once you exit out of here, you'll notice that we are at the University Point Pharmacy. So very cool. I love that lion statue. Very cool. Hello, doggy. So we'll go back into the vault and we'll continue on. I got one more area to show you, and then I will leave the rest of the scrapping up to you. I will scrap everything else off camera, and I will meet you back, and we will go ahead and start building our vault. Tick-tock. Uh-oh. I think I broke it. I broke it! Oh crap, I might have really, broke. Oh, there we go. That would have been horrible. Alright, we'll go wrong direction. Alright, so we're back in the vault. We'll go back down. And I don't know why I'm sneaking. I have no clue why I'm sneaking. And let me get my bearings back. There we go. We'll head back and we'll go ahead and we'll get the north control board, and then that'll be pretty much it for this video. So if we come down here, there was our northeast control panel, and that was a wall that we just cleared out. That leads to more uranium and more surprises. If we go straight past here, and again, you notice how it's kind of like a linear funnel, a linear path. If you just keep on going, you'll eventually find everything you need. We'll come down here, and there is our north sector. And you see we don't have the control board yet. And as you can see, since this is lighter, as you can imagine, we can get rid of all this. So we'll be back for that in a second. First, we need to go get our control board, which, if we just follow the path, is down this way. And again, keep your eyes open for stuff as you go explore these tunnels that you might want to come back and scrap. And hello. How did I possibly miss you? Uh-oh, I'm getting irradiated. Go away. Hello. McFly. Goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen. Alright, as you can see, there's a lot of radiation here. But this is where our control board is.
Perfect.
Now grab it and run. Ah! You, get away. Away from me, I say. Now run through our radiated room. Yeah, stop bugging me about leveling up. I know it's been a while since I've leveled up. We'll head over here to our workbench and we'll activate it. And now we have every single area activated. Now, if we come over here, let's get rid of our mega loader. And if we highlight it correctly, we get, well, first off, we get Explore Vault 88 complete. And if you look, we can now scrap this stuff and get it out of our way. And now that you can see even more adventure and more stuff, and you can see, you might want to be careful going through there. But what I really wanted to show you was come back this way. Let's exit out of there. Hi, doggy. And this is where we want to start really paying attention when we scrap, because we have a ton of uranium here. It is everywhere. It's all over the ceilings. You have barrels that you can scrap. Some of them will give you uranium, some of them won't. But you have uranium, you have limestone, you have a lot of uranium on the ceiling. And come through here and you'll find even more stuff. Come through here, you have uranium barrels. You actually get nuclear material from them. You got some more over here. And just make sure you just, as always, scrap everything. Now if you come over here, just like earlier, we have another barricade we can get rid of. And if we follow this one actually, you take this ladder up, you'll actually be in the hospital. That is, actually here, easier just to bring up our map instead of going out there and probably getting ambushed by a bunch of mutants. Yep, because this brings you out near the hospital, near the University Point. There is, if you come over here, there should be a hospital somewhere up here that this brings you out to. Ah, wrong button. Anyway, trust me, that leads you out to, I believe, the hospital area. And that's pretty much it. And again, don't forget, just because you're in this area right here doesn't mean you can't scrap everything. Come in here, scrap all this stuff. Fire extinguishers, shelving, everything. Scrap it all. You're going to need it. When you're done, everything should be gone. You shouldn't see anything at all, left. There's more rubber. Scrap it. Make sure you take your time, go through, scrap every single thing. And honestly, that's pretty much it for this video because it's already running a little long. And just go ahead, explore. There's still a few more tunnels to explore, but I'll kind of leave that for you as a surprise. And I just noticed something. Goodness gracious. I'm glowing. Let's get rid of all that radiation. Wow. Jumping, Jesus. There we go. That's better. Anyway, you might want to pay better attention to your radiation levels than I did. And as I fell on cue, my dual shock has died, so this is a perfect time to end this video. So again, don't forget to scrap everything that you see. Scrap down. And make sure you're grabbing all the uranium that you see. And what we'll do is you guys can go ahead and you scrap out all of your stuff that you see in your vault. I'll go ahead and I'll do the same thing here, and I'll meet you back here in the next video, and we will start building our atrium. Until then, take care, and bye-bye.